Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do the mid-year book freakout tag for 2022. So I've done this every year that I've been able to. I will have them listed below. I don't know why you'd want to watch them, but anyway. I do have the original creators down there as well, but I hear that the videos do not work anymore. So they're just there in case they pop back up sometime later. Anyway, so we're just going to jump into it. This is a great video for those who like to do the mid-year check-in and see where they're at. I always wait till after the 6 months. Like, I have to wait until June is done and then I can do that. So that is what I'm going to do here. So let's get started. The questions will be listed down below. Question number 1 is best book you've read so far this year. And that is Wildfire by Ilona Andrews. This is book 3 in the Hidden Legacy series. It wraps up one of the first arcs. And I just love this book that had everything in it from mystery, suspense, action, adventure, and romance. It just had everything I like in urban fantasies with magic in a world where magic has been in our culture since like the 1800s. So there are houses with people who have magic, and then there are people who don't have any, and then there's others who are kind of on the outskirts who just don't have a lot of power. And we follow Nevada, who is a private investigator, and then she gets wrapped up with all these people who are called primes, who are the big magic users. And it is just, I just love this series. This book wrapped up that trilogy so well, and all the things that happened. I just thought it was just boom, 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 boom. It was a great third book in a trilogy. The series does continue on, but it shifts narrative to another character. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But right now, this is my favorite book of the year, and I can't wait to reread this series because it's just so much fun. And I've been reading these with Tia and all the books. It's been a great series and fun to read together. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far this year. I would say it was Electric Idol by Katie Robert. I didn't expect to love this much as I did. I'm looking forward to rereading this probably pretty soon because I've been thinking about it. So this is the second book in the Dark Olympus series. And it follows Psyche and Eros, who are kind of pawns to people who are bigger players in Olympus. Who this is a town that is controlled by the 13, who are kind of like mafia-ish people who run this city, and they are kind of forced to fake date kind of thing, and things go badly because of people don't like them together and stuff. I just thought this was, again, really great sexy times on this one. I love the world building. I like all the characters, and I know that the other stories are coming from other characters that we've met, and I want to know more about them. And I really, really enjoyed this as a sequel to the first book, Neon Gods. Now question number 3 is new release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. For the Throne by Hannah Winton. I got this at the beginning of June. I just have not had time to get to it. I did reread For the Wolf, which is the first book that came out last year. This is just a duology of the Wilderwood. And the first book follows Rhaenyra, who is sacrificed to the woods and to the wolf. And it's not what anybody expected. And a lot of things fall out because of what happens when she goes. For the Throne is mostly going to be following her sister, who is for the throne, because the first daughter is for the throne, the second is for the wolf, which is the little saying. Anyway, so anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. I just haven't got to it. It's on my list. I need to get to it because I want to finish that duology out. Number 4 is most anticipated for the second half of the year. Most anticipated books for the second half of the year. And my most anticipated this year is Into the Narrow Dark by Tad Williams, book 3 in the Last King of Ostenard series. This, again, Tad Williams had to break up the last book into 2, so it's going to be a quartet instead of a trilogy. But I am really looking forward to continuing this series. The next, I think the 4th book, the final book, is supposed to be out next year, but I don't have a date yet on that yet, or I haven't seen it yet. But I'm so looking forward to this. This one I've had pre-ordered. It's one of 3 authors that I will buy hardbacks for. And I just can't wait. This is epic fantasy. This series follows Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. So always start there. Don't jump into The Last King of Ostenard. It does not, I don't think it would work. Just don't do it. Go back to Dragonbone Chair and read that series. But because again, some of the characters from that series, it's 25 years later, starting in the Witchwood Crown and continuing on. So again, this is book 3. They're all epically big books, and I'm so looking forward to this one. And then I'm just going to mention one other one, just because if you know me, you know this is one of my highest, this is my second most anticipated, and that is Storm Echo by Nalini Singh. This is the book 21 in the Side Changeling series, which is one of my favorite series of all time as well. And this, I just did a whole reread of the whole series in May and June. So I am ready for 21. Unfortunately, they pushed this a couple weeks out due to supply issues. So it's not going to drop until early August, but that's fine. It's close to my vacation. If I don't get it done right when I first drops, I'll get to read it in a couple days when I go on vacation. So I'm really looking forward to this paranormal romance. It's like 100 years in the future, but it's a world where there's psychics, humans, and shifters are all vying for power. And again, it's a paranormal romance, and it's just such good world building. And I'm so excited for that to come out. So number 5 is Biggest Disappointment, Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. Smythe, I don't remember how that goes. I read volume 1 from my library, and it's a really pretty graphic novel. I know it's been online for quite a while, and I guess it goes pretty far that you can read on it, but they're coming out now in volumes, and I can see why. They're very, very pretty. And I liked it for the most part. It kind of gave me the same kind of vibes as Dark Olympics, except this was much more younger. The characters are younger and much more naive than the Katie Robert series. But this one, my problem was the end of the volume. And if you've read it, then you know something happens with one of the characters that they kind of go along with something that I don't think they should have. And to me, it was like a flashback to college of things that I hated that would happen to people. I'm not gonna the decision made was wrong, I think. And what happens was like, why would you do that? Like, or let yourself have that happen to you? And I had issues with it. Maybe it's my little control issues. Anyway, point is that it ruined it for me. It ruined me so much because it made no sense at the time. No sense at all. And I just was like, I'm done. That's a character I don't want to care. I don't care about enough, and won't read again. So sorry, that just didn't work for me. And I don't want to say exactly because, ruins it. Anyway, point is, that didn't work. So the number 6 is The Biggest Surprise. That would be Desperate Measures by Katie Roberts. So I'd read Neon Gods, and then I picked up Desperate Measures because everybody talked about this one last year, really. And or last couple of years, I don't know. I've been, heard about this, and this is a Jafar and Jasmine retelling in kind of a mafia situation. And I loved this. I have no idea why. I still am like thinking about it going, why would I love this? Like all the tropes are not tropes I like. They are not things I want in my erotica or romance, but it worked in this book. And I then went on to binge the whole Wicked Villain series. So I would say this was my biggest surprise of the year. Number 7 is New Favorite Author, Debut or New to You. And speaking on that, Katie Robert would definitely fall into that this year. I have read, I think, 12 of her books so far this year, 12 or 13 of her books already this year. And I have more to read as well. Her backlist is huge. I now want to get anything that she puts out. I've just enjoyed everything. I mean, some of them I like better than others, of course, but she's definitely an author that I really love. Again, Neon Gods is one of my favorite books. So this year that I've just really enjoyed in the whole series so far. So anyway, that's what I like. Okay, what did I do with that book? Oh, I just lost. Sorry, I buried a book. So number 8 is Newest Fictional Crush. So I don't ever do this question that way because I don't feel that way about characters in books. But I have my newest favorite couple. And I would say this year so far, my favorite couple is Nevada and Rogan in the Hidden Legacy series. I just love them. And I love the progression because we got 3 books of them, of things, how it started out and how it goes. And with everything going on in these books, in this urban fantasy, I just love how it happens and their decisions that they make with each other. And it was a great romance. So They are my favorite fictional couple so far this year. Number 9 is newest favorite character. And I have to say Patroclus from Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. He is just, of all the characters that I read, he's the one I wanted to protect the most. Like, there's something noble and sweet about him, but also, strong. But there was just, I wanted to protect him. And so I think that makes him one of my favorite characters so far this year. Number 10, book that made you cry, Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I should have expected that at some point I might tear up on this book because of how I felt about the Mistborn series. But Warbreaker was a surprise because I wasn't really sure what I was reading when I got into it. And as I said, there was some characters in here that were favorites, that things changed, and I was so upset about certain things. And then the end just came, and I should have expected it, but I did not. And what happens made me cry. What happens to one of my favorite characters in here, and I was just like, I teared up. And so Warbreaker made me cry. Number 11, book that made you happy. So I'm just gonna mention 2 series really and 2 books. Mostly because the reason I did this is because I read so many books in these series that they all just made me smile and laugh. Smile. And so I just wanted to point these out. Sorry, my cat is rubbing against some books over there. I'm afraid they're gonna fall. Sorry. The Myth Manifestation is book 5 in the SPI files. This is my favorite of that series. It's a 7-book series right now. And it's urban fantasy about Mac, who is a seer who works for a agency that watches over other creatures and things, people from other dimensions who come to stay on Earth, and in New York City mostly. And number 5 is my favorite. It just made me smile when they're trapped in this hotel and everything goes wrong. It was so much fun. Anyway, so, and then also most of the Pride series by Shelley Lawrenson, pretty much anything by Shelley Lawrenson makes me smile and makes me happy because they're just so funny and outrageous and crazy. These paranormal romances always focus on a couple that usually we've met through some of the other books, and because the books build on each other, and this world is really advanced. And the cat, ow, no, let go. Sorry. No. He stabs me. Anyway, but Beast Behaving Badly is my favorite of the Pride series. Shelley Lawrenson just is so much fun. And as I said, outrageous. There's no way these people are real. But it was just so much fun. So I picked this one just to show one of the, I don't remember what number of this book was, but Blaine and Bo, they show up in like most of her books after they are introduced, and they are just crazy people, but they're just so much fun. So these are books that made me happy, just because even though they were not 5-star reads, they just make me happy when I read them because they're just so much fun. And I just enjoyed both of them. Both urban fantasy and paranormal romance have just been comforts to me this year. So number 12 is favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. I have not seen any, so I have no answer for this question. I have been really bad and not watched any TV really other than YouTube. I should work on that. I just haven't. Number 13 is, favorite video you've done so far this year. I haven't done a whole lot of videos. I mean, again, I've done mostly my updates and my weekly updates and my book hauls and my TBRs. And those are all the classic ones. I've done a few tags here and there. My favorite so far probably is the quarter year book tag? I don't remember how that goes. That there was like a check-in at the first quarter. And I thought that was kind of cool. So it's kind of like this one, but it was like at 3 months instead of, anyway, I like that one. But anyway, this year has not been a good creative year for me in that way. Just because of work and stuff. So that's why, sorry. And then, number 14 is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I have 2 that I just want to show. One I got as a pre-order. I just love this one. I don't know, for some reason, there's something about the foil in the lighthouse and the way that sparkles. The Lamplighters by Emma Stonex. I need to read this because this was a pre-order. It's just a pretty book. I don't know why. I did get it from the UK. I did order it that way just because it was so pretty. And then this book I just kind of bought on a whim. Heaven Official's Blessing. And I'm not even really sure what this is because I bought it kind of on a whim. And so I haven't read it, but the book itself is just really, just a pretty book. And it's got really pretty stuff in it. So it's just, and there's like little things. Anyway, I need to read this to find out what it's about, but it is the prettiest book. Those are the pretty books that I bought. And yeah, I would say that was my only cover by this one, the Heaven's Official Blessing, because I don't know what that's about. And number 15 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Again, I'm going to say I don't have a huge amount that I want to say I have to read. These are all just ones that are series that I want to get to, or like books I'm completing something. So the first one is The Professor by Charlotte Bronte. This is my last Bronte novel. I've read all the other novels. This is the very last one I need to read before I can start reading some biographies on the Bronte sisters. I really want to, and I own one that I want to read. So I need to read this. It's not very long, so I'm hoping about 200 pages. So I'm hoping Victober I will get to that. I want to finish the Book of the Order series by Philippa Ballantyne. This is Hairbringer, however you say that, which is book 4, and I need to pick this up fairly soon just so I finish the series out. It's a 4-book series. I want to get that done. Of course, I want to continue with the Hidden Legacy series. There's a novella that we're going to read this next week, and then continue on with the last trilogy. So this is the first book, Sapphire Flames, for that. So I mean, again, I want to finish out the Hidden Legacy series this year. And then the only other one I'm going to make sure I read is the Mistborn Era 2 by Brandon Sanderson. The book for The Lost Metal is coming out in November, and I'm already on the hold list for the library, and I'm like number 15. So I need to make sure I read the 3 books that come before, because I've never read Mistborn Era 2. So there's Alloy Law, Bands of Mourning, and Shadows of Self. I don't know what order they go into. Anyway, the point is that next month I'm hoping to start the series and then try to finish that. Get all 3 of those done before the new one comes out, because I'm already on the wait list. So that is my mid-year book freakout tag for 2022. Have you done this video? Or any of these books a surprise? No, probably not. Did you, I guess I want to say, just tell me what your biggest surprise was. I think that is the most interesting question I like to hear the answers to. I mean, yeah, everybody's going to talk about their favorite books by the end of the year, but what is your biggest surprise? What was the one that just kind of jumped out at you and was like, whoa, I wouldn't have, that was not what I expected, or, I guess a surprise in a good way, but you can tell me either way. So anyway, that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.